My name is Raoul RUGAMBA, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an artist, I used to say. And I run two companies. One is an event management company called Hobe Agency, and African Colors, which is a Pan-African organization dealing with the culture and creative industries. First of all, congratulations to Wilson and Tarama Rwanda. This is not an easy job. It's really, really, really complicated to put together an event like this. So congratulations, guys. They have asked me to talk about creative industries, current status in Rwanda and Africa, need for public and private collaborations, how to land on internship for university students in creative sector, monetization of arts, startup funding and available investment and opportunities in the creative industries. So it's not something I can speak about in a few minutes, but I'll try to summarize it, yeah? So I hope it's not boring for you. Are you guys there? Do we have any artists in the room? What do you do, for example? Which type of art do you do? Yes. Yeah? You're a singer. Nice. You? Nice. You always do what? Nice. So where are you from? Nigeria. You came here to do that? To study, and then you are doing that, and you are making money out of it. That's a conversation for another day. Okay, I get you. So how about you? Someone behind you? Who else is an artist here? Yes, tell. You paint? Huh? Nice. And you make money out of it? Nice. So you buy around for all of us, yeah? So how about you? Do you make money? Yes. Yeah? So another round. So clap for them. They are going to buy a drink for all of us. So, creative industries. So we know that it's based on our creativity and how we use our intellectual property to generate revenues, right? We know that, right? Yeah? So, creative industries and culture industries are a global thing. It's now a thing, right? So everywhere in the world they're talking about it, right? You know that, right? You see it. Yeah? Anyone has searched a bit about it? How they do monetizing, how they create the money out of it? Or the importance of that in a society, in a country? Anyone? You did? Nice. So in Rwanda, so globally we have 15 sectors that have been identified as creative industries, right? So in Rwanda we have 9 sectors that have been identified as creative sectors. And UNESCO is the one who identified that on a global level. So, and I'm sure you know that we have performing arts, music, theater, film, etc., etc. So all those things are under the creative industries. Now, Rwanda, I started this business in 2008. I used to work for another organization. And back then, I think we were the top one, putting together festivals, supporting artists, etc., etc. Today, we have a lot of companies doing that, right? So we'll go through it later on. So Rwanda, in terms of culture and creative industries, it has seen a tremendous growth. Why? Because Rwanda have been positioning itself in terms of services, in terms of event, etc., etc. right? So artists like yourself, they are making more money than before. They are getting more exposure than before. So all these stuff are the important growth we have been seeing in Rwanda. And in terms of public sector involvement, we have now a new ministry, right? So we used to be under sports, then we went under unity, etc., etc. So now we have our own ministry since the end of last year, right? So what does that mean? It means more value to what we do, right? So how this industry is in other advanced economies across the world, right? What happens is once the government is involved, once there are a lot of things done by the public sector, you see immediately a growth of the industry. But the private sector plays a huge role, right? As entrepreneurs, creatives, artists, etc., right? So we'll go deeper again into that. And then another thing is more and more we see people having smartphones, access to future phones, and internet connectivity across the country. You also see growth of the culture and creative industries. And that's, again, another factor, another indicator in Rwanda's growth of the culture and creative industries. So in terms of a quick map of it, so in 2016, the national statistics of Rwanda said 5% of the services of the GDP of Rwanda was contributed by the culture and creative industries and other sectors. Today, I was looking at the new figures. Back then it was 8 billion, the GDP of Rwanda. So now the GDP of Rwanda is 13 billion. And the contribution of culture and creative industries, which is still under services, is 4%. So it's really good. And when you look at the investment attracted, the recent report done by RDB, they said it's 270 million attracted in the arts and entertainment space. What does that mean? It means those new facilities, people who brought in money in this space, etc. So that means from where we were in 2010, 2008, we used to do an event and the budget was just maybe 10 million Rwandan francs. Today, it means we are doing a festival for 500,000. When there is Global Citizen, it's 2 million. When you have BAL, it's 4 million, 5 million, right? So that's the growth we have been seeing, and that's how money goes back in the economy of Rwanda. So in terms of local investment in local startups, in local artists, so majority of the money comes from DFIs. So any idea in the room of what a DFI is? Anyone know? Anyone? No? So does anyone know the French Institute here? Does anyone know the British Council? Does anyone know about, I said British Council, yeah? So anyone got money from them? No? No? Kinda? You did? You are? Nice. And that was money related to these industries, right? The arts, music, etc., right? So those people are part of the people investing in the culture and creative industries across Africa. So in Rwanda, they did as well. So around $2 million was invested in that space. Now, who knows about MICE strategy? Anyone? Anyone? You do? Nice, you do? Can you tell us about it a bit? Amazing. But you work for RDB, yeah? Okay. She knows one thing. So the My strategy is really important for our industry. So before the strategy was put in place, so that's a strategy under RDB, right? You know RDB, right? Anyone? But you guys are not there. Eh? Yeah. So RDB put it in place, the My strategy, for Rwanda to attract those events, right? To attract those conferences, right? So since it was put in place, the culture and creative industries in Rwanda saw an important growth. Does anyone know why? Or the correlation of it? Anyone? Eh? No, the reason why, when the MICE strategy, when it was put in place, why we saw a growth in this space. Yes. Anything else? So, for the artists in the room, myself included, my parent was telling me this is not a job because I did computer science in university. So, going into this business, they tell you this is not a business, right? Computer science, you can be a programmer, you can be Bill Gates, right? With Microsoft. You can be Apple, you can build anything, right? So when you start telling him, no, I'm going to produce an artist to sing, we used to have people singing for us for free, right? So why do we have to pay them, right? So what happened is, when you have those people coming in from outside, from economies that consume those products, that consume those sectors, they pay for it, right? So that's one. And then second, you have all the other programs, the Visit Rwanda, etc., going outside, right? So it means when they go, they take part of our culture, part of our creativity, part of the fashion industry we have, etc., and they get exposed, right? So the growth is seen because people who came in, Rwanda who went out, right, with that strategy, people have got interest in paying for those services, for those things, right? So that's why we see an important growth there. And that's how the fashion industry actually became the fashion industry, right? Before, it was really about music. It was about concerts. So for those who have my age or older, so we used to have concerts almost every 2-3 months in Rwanda, right? So now we can do 6 months without any concert, right? But the fashion industry grew, the craft industry grew, the visual arts grew because of that strategy, right? So we'll get back again to that, why we have to consider and know about this. Now, in terms of Africa, so you see an important presence of the culture and creative industries in countries when there is a strong investment from the private sector, but also from the government. So, for example, in South Africa, when you look at the South African sphere space, they are the biggest players in this space. For example, the royalties they collect, royalties. Does anyone know what a royalty is? Artist royalties? Anyone? Please. How does it happen? How do you get there? Okay. Amazing. So for the artist, the musician who was here, do you protect your art? You're an artist, you can't be shy. You just started. Okay, but for the visual artists as well, do you protect your things? Maybe. So that's a very, very important thing. So in South Africa, in terms of music royalties and other royalties as well, it's a over 1 billion collection they get out of the royalties, right? So that makes the industry be a very important industry. Now, if you look at Kenya, same thing. They have programs, they have royalty programs, they have a way to compensate artists, etc., right? So that's a very important in terms of East Africa. Nigeria, we all know why. Quickly, who saw the numbers of Nigeria in terms of concerts they have been doing in US, UK, etc.? Anyone know? Burna Boy concert, Wizkid, etc. So a quick story. Burna Boy came here in Rwanda. Did you guys go see him? I think in 2018, 17, yeah? The guys who brought him here, they paid $30,000, right? He was just next door and then they brought him here. I think a month ago, someone wanted to bring him here again. Anyone can guess how much he charged? 50 per second. Per second. So he charged $700,000. And then you have to pay him a jet. You have to pay him everything else, the team, accommodation, blah, 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 right? And that's between 2017 and 2024, right? So that's a small example. So if you look at films, they produce over 3,000 movies a month. They have 9 million jobs they created, etc., right? So Nigeria is an important one on that side. And then Morocco and Egypt in the north, right? So those people are very serious about this business. So recently when they had a small, it's not a small, they had a function in Morocco. The king invested 200 million euros. Right? So even if you put 200 million Rwandan francs, it's a lot, right? Now imagine 200 million. So they become very important, right? Why? Because the image of the country, because of the workforce around it, because in that, Burna Boy will be born, right? So those countries are very important in terms of culture and creative industries. Now, in terms of other correlations, so countries without policies. Does anyone know what a policy is in a country? No? A framework to work in, right? So a country, if I'm an artist, if a country wants to support, if an investor wants to go there, the first thing they look in a country is, this country has a policy. So this is something I can invest in, right? They will protect me, they will support me, right? So every country in those big markets, big economies, every country has a policy, right? In East Africa, no country has a policy, right? In many African countries, we don't have cultural policies, right? So countries who are working on that, they will see an important growth, right? Another thing is protection, right? So we have to protect our things. So that's how you get paid, right? So you really have to protect it. It can be a network, it can be a music, it can be a content. So all those things are what makes or create value, money for you, right? You have to protect it. So in all those countries, economies that are advanced, they have a strong protection framework. And then running real quick, so monetization. What I can talk about monetization is also about once we are unique in a very competitive world, when we have our roots from our culture or traditions, we become very competitive, right? Does anyone follow music from Mali? Right? Mali, even Nigeria, right? Apart from these two, I bet no one understands what they sing, right? Right? But they make money and they're unique, right? So if we base on that, we can make money. So if you go listen to Mali, Mali is one of the strongest music player in Africa. They fill out stadiums in Europe, right? No one understands what they sing. And sometimes it's just a kora. Does anyone know a kora? The instrument? It's just that. And they make money. So we have to bet on our culture and traditions. So digitalization, so we have an influencer, so it's very important, right? In 2 or 3 ways, right? It's also for our branding, right? What do we put out there? What do we want people to see about us, right? And then also the work we are doing, putting it out there, right? There is a way you can do it in terms of promoting it, but you can also use it to monetize the work you are doing. So collaboration, everyone spoke about collaboration, right? So does anyone know Stromae? Yeah? So Stromae, we produced him when he came here with another partner of mine, right? So he was right there. Stromae, how he started, he was doing almost everything with just fellows. You shoot a video because you know how to shoot a video. He sings because he knows how to sing. He get dressed by someone else, a friend, right? Everyone was working for free, but the target was to be a big brand, right? So Stromae today, he's a millionaire. If not a billionaire, maybe soon, right? So collaboration is really important, but in a framework of doing it as a business, right? So we don't have to charge each other at the first time, but we don't have to do it free if we want it to be sustainable, okay? Now, going back to what I was saying about the My strategy, right? Why the tourism impacted this industry. So us as creative, as artists, we have to be associated to other industries, right? So I've been doing a couple of research recently, and a very important number of people, artists, creative entrepreneurs in this space, they started making money when they started joining these other sectors, right? So we as creatives, as artists, we have to look at other sectors as well in terms of these sectors the country is putting in front, right? Tourism and hospitality, etc., and see how do we create product, how do we create or associate ourselves with that so that we can get a portion of that money back to us. Does it make sense? Yeah? No? It does? Does anyone, the singer, do you sing in hotels? You don't do live shows? Live events? You do events? Part of a band? So does anyone know Andy Bumono? What was he doing before he becomes a super artist? Yeah? So that's how he got discovered, right? So, and he was doing it in bars, right? So more people goes there, more people comes in the country, goes in the bar, etc. You get seen, right? And that's how you get connected to other industries. So it's really important we get to know the agenda of the country, what industries are really there, and then get associated to that. Okay? Now, startup funding and available investment opportunities in the creative industries. So this is not an easy subject. It's not an easy conversation, and no one will tell you a formula for this. No one. So we have raised a lot of money and we have lost a lot of money. We have went into a company, they tell you we want this. The next day you go to another one using the same formula, they tell you, no, this is not our thing, right? There is no one formula for that. However, in our space, it's always creating a story for them. So the small amount of money we have managed to raise throughout our careers, it was about creating a story that means something for that client. If you go to Beka, it's a financial institution, right? So if it's a financial institution, it can be a charity thing, right? So it has to be related to their services, to their businesses, right? Being an artist, so we went to pitch Stromae coming to Rwanda. He's a big artist, right? We got zero money from them, right? So it doesn't mean anything to tell them, oh no, I'm bringing Jesus in a concert. No, right? You have to understand what they are doing, their business, and then your product, your service makes sense for them in that sense, okay? But they also have CSR. So in a time, 60% of the money that was running our company was coming from CSR companies, right? So that's one of the source of income that funds majority of the work in the culture and creative industry, unfortunately, right? So if you have a dad, a mom who is a millionaire, who's a big boss out there, you can also use their collaterals for traditional financial institutions, but they will kill you if you lose the money. If you don't make money, if your business is not making money, they will kill you. Yeah? So that one is more risky, but it's something possible. And the bank today, actually, you guys can be out there looking for that info. There is a local financial institution going to launch a fund for creative industries. So prepare your projects, prepare your ideas, so the money will be coming in anytime. So that's a new model by financial institutions to really support the creative industries. But the money, the business, has to make money for the bank again, right? So 90%, as I mentioned, of money we are using, unfortunately, in many countries, it's really by DFIs and ourselves, and then a portion of it comes from public institutions. Now, and again, another thing, another source of funding in our space, or what we can explore, is really associating a brand, an institution with the work you are doing, right? So now everyone is talking about climate change, everyone is talking about green revolution, etc., etc. As an artist, that's an entry point for us to make a small money, right? If our work, if our arts get associated or get connected to that big thing in a country. Does anyone follow that? Yeah? Do you know how much money was raised recently by the government? Not really? No one? So 20 million US dollars, right? So maybe there is someone here who's going to get $1 million out of it, right? Who knows? Yeah, good luck. So we have to get associated to those kind of stuff. Now, another thing Junior mentioned, when I started, we get driven, we get taken away about our passions, right? Excited about people seeing us online. We have 20,000 followers, 100,000 followers, we get excited, right? But there is a business behind. We really have to consider that. As we made a mistake, we were artists. It was not about having a proper financial model, a business plan, etc., right? But if you want to do it the proper way, you really have to know this kind of stuff. We are not different. Our industry, our business is not different from agriculture, etc., etc., right? There has to be that in place. Documentation. So anyone has a company here? Anyone? So you have proper documentation? You do? That's a good thing. For us, it was never important. We didn't know about this. It was about creating. We have a lot of projects, PowerPoints, etc., etc. But in terms of business, if your paperwork are not in place, you are screwed, right? So we have to rethink that component again. So it wasn't important back then, I thought, but it's very important. Now to finish, how to get internships. So this is again not something easy, but it's easy as well. So we all of us now know or think we have to make money the first thing, right? The first time we go somewhere, we have to make money. The first time we land in a company, we have to make money. It doesn't work like that, right? So it will never work like that. We really have to give ourselves, to contribute, to invest in those kind of stuff. Myself, the first time I went to speak in a conference, I had invested in me, air tickets, hotels, etc., over $10,000. Attending those conferences, those summits, looking at how it works, connecting, learn, etc., before I go in to speak in a conference. Same thing, when we started in 2008, I was getting a motorbike fee to go back home, right? Before I get money, you really have to invest yourself as well. And then there is also the RDB Skills Office. Who knows about it? Anyone? Anyone else? So this is very important, guys, unless you guys have businesses or something else. So they have a program for people in terms of internship, and they pay you, right? So what you just have to do is really go and be in that database, right? And once there is a demand, they can connect you, right? So you have to be connected to them. And then there is the private and public partnership. So for example, we partnered with different universities, different schools, so that they can send us people. We share, right? We connect. They see what we are doing. They bring in their stuff, and then we all of us grow, right? We want to grow at the end of the day, daily. So if anyone is looking for internship, you can also look at your schools and see which companies they have partnered with. And then the private sector partnership, that's what I was talking about. And then students outreach. So that's another thing. We have social medias. I think it's easy now to reach anyone and tell them, hey, I'm around, I do this. If there is any festival, if there is any conference, let me know. Yeah, so those are a few things. So this is a long conversation. Thank you for giving me time. So let's connect on social medias. Anyone, if you have questions. All right, take care, guys.